Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's continue working on the calculator that we have created before. We have created the user interface, but we still need to create the JavaScript part. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. So let's get started. Here, after creating the user interface, what we need to do obviously is that we need to create the JavaScript part. So I'm going to create the script. And inside it, we need to get these two numbers as well as the operation so that we make the calculation and return the result to the user. So what I'm going to do, first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to make a reference to all of these inputs. So let's start with the submit button here. Var submit button equals to document dot get element by ID, and I'm going to pass the ID, which is submit button. And I'm going to do the same for the first number and the second number here. Var first number equals to document dot get element by ID, and I'm going to pass the first number ID. And I'm going to do the same for the second number. Var second number equals to document dot get element by ID, and I'm going to pass the second number. And finally, the operation result equals to document get element by ID, and I'm going to pass the ID, which is result. Now we have reference to all of these inputs, and we can now add an event listener to the submit button. So once the user clicks on the submit button, what we need to do is that we need to get the first number and the second number and check the operation. If the operation is add, then we will add these two numbers. If the operation is subtract, we will subtract these two numbers. If the operation is multiply, we will multiply them. If the operation is divide, we will divide them. So we need to add event listener for the submit button. So submit button dot add event listener, and the event will be obviously click, and the callback function will be function and e, and then for event, and inside we can make our operation. But of course, in order to decide which operation to do, we need to check which one has been chosen. If the user has chosen the add, then we want to add. If the user chooses subtract, we want to subtract, etc. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to check the operation that has been selected, and I'm going to store the value in a variable. Operation, let's store it in a variable. Let operation equals to document dot query selector, and I'm going to pass the input with the name of operation. That way we will be able to decide which one has been chosen, which operation has been chosen. If the user selects the first radio button, which is for the addition, then we will add these two numbers. So here input, and then the name will be name equals to obviously operation, and then checked, which operation has been checked. And of course we want to get the value. Here, as you can see, it will get the value of that operation. Once you have the operation, you can use the if statement to decide which one you are going to do, which one you are going to add or subtract. Maybe you want to subtract if the user selects the subtract. So I'm going to use the if statement here. Operation equals to, if the operation equals to add, then we want to add these two numbers. So I'm going to get the first number. We already have reference to the first number dot value plus the second number dot value. But this is not correct. We want to parse them because they are strings. We want to parse them to integers. So here parse int, and we pass the value. Parse int, we pass the value as well as the second number as well. Parse int to convert it to integer because they are now strings. And of course, we don't want to get strings. We can't add strings. We can't do operations, mathematical operations on strings. We need to first to convert them to integers so that we will be able to do operations. And here, let's store the result in let equals let value or result, let res for result equals to this, to the first number and the second number. And finally, we just use the result to display the value. So I'm going to use the result dot inner HTML equals to the res. That way, we will get the result after adding these two numbers and display it to the user inside the div, inside this div. This is for the first operation. And we can also use else statement to do the other operations. Else if the operation equals to subtract, then we will do the same here. I'm gonna just copy this part and paste it inside. The only thing that I need to change is that instead of adding, I'm gonna just subtract and display the result. And for the third one, else if the operation equals to multiply, then we want to multiply these two numbers. So instead of plus here, it should be multiply, and we display the result. For the last operation, we need to divide. So else if the operation here, operation equals to divide, then what we need to do obviously is that we need to divide these two numbers. So here, divide these two numbers. And finally, you can add else statement if nothing has been selected. You can say no result or whatever you want. You can say here nothing has been chosen, no operation chosen, no operation selected. And now we are good to go. Let's now save and test. So now if we save and test, as you can see, we will have this user interface and we will be able to choose the operation and insert the numbers. Let's start with the addition. If I choose the addition, add, and then insert the first number, let's say 5, and insert the second number, let's say 3. So 5 plus 3, the result should be 8. If I click on go, as you can see, I'm going to get 8. If I choose subtraction, 5 minus 3, we should get 2. As you can see, we get 2. If we multiply, we should get 15. And that's true. If we divide, we should get, I think, 1.5, 1.6666. And it's great. It's a great calculator. And let's try with another number. Let's say 3 here, and the other number is 4. If we add them, we should get 7. If we subtract, we should get minus 1, because 3 minus 4 is minus 1. And then if we multiply, we will get 12. And if we divide, we should get 75.75. And that's true. So this is a simple calculator that you can create in JavaScript in just about 10 minutes or so. And it's actually a great exercise to practice your JavaScript skills. So if you like this video, make sure to subscribe, share, like, and I'd like to know your comments below. If you have any comments about this and other projects as well, leave them in the comment below. And also check the description because I have created a free ebook on how to freelance as a programmer and make money online. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.